the C-VILLE, and I'm here at 2nd Street Gallery with the director, Leah Stoddard. We're looking at a show of Cecil McDonald's photographs. Leah, can you tell me exactly how staged are these photos?
Well, they're actually pretty staged. This photographer from Chicago is all about light and shadow and composition. So the first thing he does when he sets up a scene, which is often in his house, this group of work called Domestic Observations is about his home, and this is his living room here. He'll go ahead into the scene and he'll set up the lighting, and a lot of it you won't see from the end product, but it's very controlled as an environment, and you'll see this use of light, placement of furniture, even discrete objects on the floor, as he calls props, are all specifically arranged ahead of time. And then he sits down with his daughters, ages 10 and 11, and tells them the scene. In this case, it's about the need to practice the piano and perhaps a little resistance to that practicing. And so he puts them in the scene, and in fact, he himself is in this scene, and he's not always in his photographs, but in this one he particularly is. And then he lets them do what they want to do, and in this case, instead of sitting at the piano, she's opted to be lying on the piano bench with something that she came up with. And then his other daughter is sort of moving in and out of the bathroom, sort of not even really a part of the scene. And she's moving so much that the length of the exposure has made her feel pretty ghostly. So he sets up the scene like a director and then lets the characters, in this case his daughters, improvise within that setting. And he says that he always ends up with things he didn't expect that are more immediate or you know, like everyday than if he actually told them what to do. So it lends a spontaneity within the controlled scene.
At the same time, there's so much of an ambiguous quality to these works. How do you think that comes about? What are some of the questions that raises?
Well, and Cecil would be thrilled to hear that you noticed that, because he's very interested in creating open environments, meaning he doesn't want to lead the narrative and make the viewer think they have to follow a certain story path. So he sets up scenes that give you a little bit of information, but not the whole story, and hopes that the viewer will enter in. So for example, the placement of the family pictures on top of the piano in this case, or the fact that there's a guitar there, or there's some towels on the ground. He wants to suggest things that are almost like, if you know the history of Dutch paintings, the sort of household in turmoil, but also the idea that little objects in our homes have symbolic content that's specific to us individually and maybe not universal. So he sets up these scenes hoping that the ambiguity will lead to the viewer participating in a real direct way with making up their own stories.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking with us about these.
You're welcome.